All right.
All right, all
Oh,
right, all
that's something
right.
to do. I need to get a quagmire. All right. All right.
Giggity.
All right. Well, welcome back to Totally Offside. Man,
Yeah.
big hiatus over.
Oh yeah.
Maybe
This
self-induced hiatus.
potentially.
I don't know. I'm like I said, religious experience or I'm a total dummy. One is far more likely than the other. I'm not going to say
Definitely.
which, but you can
We'll
probably
leave it up to the
guess.
viewers.
Yeah, we'll leave that up to interpretation. But yeah, editing problem. I don't know if anybody saw on Twitter. We put out a bit of an announcement. Totally off pod, I believe it is. Um, yeah, we had an editing issue where whenever we were exporting our final upload for YouTube, there was no audio available in it at all. But it was playing fine in the player. It was playing fine in the edited straight up audio cut. Didn't work on mine or Nathan's machines, nor other programs, nor anything. Outsourced to a very savior like friend of mine who edited them together and then sent them back to me where I still couldn't hear them, but Nathan could. So I figured it was my machine. Didn't think it was as blatant as it was. My audio player had just been apparently muted for like 3 weeks. So when I played anything, I didn't hear it. It wasn't necessarily the export's fault. But where I'm confused, where you're confused, Nathan,
Yeah, I too am confused here.
you too could not hear said audio files when I sent them to you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, prior to them being edited by your buddy, I couldn't hear them.
And you were not muted because you're
No,
nowhere
it was
near as
not.
dumb as I am. So I think maybe God's real. Not
Maybe,
sure.
potentially.
Because I was praying for
This
it and
has
it
to be
went
proof,
away.
right?
Well, that's the thing. I told you we're going to drive to town to pick up Jess, and I'm going to find out if Jesus takes the wheel. Now, unintentionally, and I'm not endorsing this behavior, okay, I ran into a friend at the corner store, didn't have time to talk to him. So when I got in the car, hit the road because I was late to grab Jess, sent him a quick text. All right, now don't do it. It's bad. It's not good. But send him a quick text, and it was a little longer than I thought a quick text maybe should have been. Um, and you ever have those moments where like you didn't really remember you were driving for the last like half kilometer or so? It was one of
Yeah,
those.
yeah.
So
Where you
Jesus
kind of
did
zone out.
took he took the wheel. He got me there efficiently and safely. So
So
I
it's
think it's
proof. It has to be
confirmed.
proof, yeah.
Yeah. So totally offside podcast,
So
potentially endorsed by
checkmate.
Jesus. Okay, tirade over. Oh, hopefully you're listening to these now. If we get them edited out tonight and I don't have my player on mute, there's going to be a batch drop tomorrow,
Oh
right,
yeah,
Nathan?
big
Wednesday the
should be,
17th.
yes. Should be, yeah.
All right. So if you're listening on the 17th or any time after that,
You'll know
really,
we did it.
you'll know it worked. If
It
they're
worked. We
uploaded
did it.
later than that, you know that I at least had that much more time of suffering. So yeah, hopefully you're hearing this. Hopefully you're enjoying it. Hopefully you've uh, either listened to us before, or I guess the only other option is being here fresh. But either way, we're glad you're here. And without further ado, Nathan, you want to kick off the Totally Offside podcast, episode 6? Some
Episode
little
6.
basketball isms.
Oh yeah, we've 6 episodes. Eh? That's pretty
I
good.
know, eh? We've accumulated
Yeah,
like I think almost 100 views spread out across the 3 that are
look at
uploaded.
that.
So
Honestly, we thought we were gonna get like 10.
yeah,
So
I thought we'd have only our views at this point.
yeah. So honestly, I'm proud to be here. But the NBA schedule. It's not full schedule, but mainly
Key
the
dates.
Christmas Day and opening day games they got released. I'm gonna start with the opening day because Christmas games are like way more interesting. Because opening day we just have like Lakers at Warriors, so nice little rivalry game there,
Yeah,
little
that's good.
Cali
That'll
rivalry.
draw an audience, right?
Yeah, obviously like LeBron Steph, you'll never not want to watch
Exactly.
LeBron versus Steph. And then you got Sixers Celtics, which is like not bad. Honestly, I would have preferred like Nets Sixers, but
That would have
like
been more fun, but
I think
Celtics is
Nets
still
Sixers would have been really good.
this is still good. I'd still watch it.
Yeah, I'd still watch it. It's still gonna be good
Maybe we
basketball. It's
should do an
just
opening day watch party.
maybe I'd be down for that. We'll do it for the MLB too next season,
Not even for like content, just for you and me. We'll just make
just
it a
for
date.
fun. Yeah, we could
Yeah,
do that.
team bonding.
Oh yeah, team bonding. We'll get the producers involved too when we have those.
Well, if they're involved, it's not team bonding; it's team bondage at that point. All right,
Oh no.
because
Oh no.
we're gonna get weird at that point.
Oh no. Anyway, moving on. We're gonna go to the Christmas games. So I'm gonna skip over the two that you see I have bolded here because those ones
What are
those
these
ones are
big
good
deals
games.
to you?
Oh yeah, they're big deals.
Did these excite you
So
just a little bit?
little bit, little tiny smidge. But so we got Lakers Mavericks, right?
Yep.
That's gonna be a good game. LeBron, Luca, good matchup. Assuming the Lakers are better than they were last year, that's gonna be a good game. Because if the Lakers suck just as much as they did last year, that is just gonna be Luca mopping the floor with the Lakers, which I mean is still entertaining.
Is there any
It's just not
is there like a stat that exists but doesn't matter based around how teams do on Christmas Day, like if they're going into it
probably.
under or over 500?
There's
Like I feel like
probably
Christmas Day has to be a
yeah.
swing game for some teams, right?
Oh, definitely. There's definitely some record where it's like pre-Christmas, post-Christmas, and then the
Mhm.
records on Christmas.
Yep. That's what I'm looking
It's like
for.
a pre All-Star, post All-Star kind of situation.
Yeah, it's exactly what I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But the thing is, because Christmas happens so early in the season, it's probably
Yeah,
like
that's true. I mean, I'm sure you still have enough of a sample size before the Christmas game to,
oh yeah.
at least make a prediction, especially with the way the basketball schedule is. But I don't know. That'd be an
Yeah.
interesting dive one time when we're bored.
Oh, you know what? Maybe I'll toss some predictions on these games too while we're
Mm.
at it.
So Lakers, Mavs,
I think Mavs are gonna take it. I
regardless
think
of how
that's
well, if the Lakers
regardless
just
of how
open the
Luka the Lakers
season
are.
steaming.
Oh, I just still Luca. I think it's Luca Christian Wood. That's a good team, man. With
I
Spencer Dinwiddie.
forgot Christian Wood's there.
Yeah, he got moved over there,
He's
which
always such
that's
an
a
easy
good team.
pickup in 2K. He's so good.
And I think Dorian Finney-Smith is like super slept on too. He's like he's lanky. He can defend. He can shoot.
Isn't he older
It's
now?
kind of like what?
Isn't he older now? Like, isn't he almost 30?
Oh no, he's like 20, 25 at most.
Really? Wow. It
Yeah,
shows how
he's a
much
young
I
guy.
know.
Let's take a look. Actually, I'll start talking about the next one while I'm looking him up. Suns Nuggets. That's a good one just because it was a playoff series. Oh no, never mind. He's 29. You're right.
Okay, I thought so.
He just felt young, I guess. Like he got
One
drafted in
time where
2016.
like I'm like, all right, okay.
2016 feels like 4 years ago, but it was actually 6 years ago. So,
I guess 4 and 6 isn't really much of a difference.
but still, yeah. But anyway, Suns Nuggets. Firstly, I think the Suns should win it
I would hope.
because they are the better team.
Yeah, oh yeah,
But
for sure. And
if Jamal
they're a
Murray,
great regular season team.
they're terrific in the regular season. They just choke in the playoffs.
Yeah.
But then if Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. are healthy, I think the Nuggets are like low key a top 3 seed in the West.
Really?
Yes, I think they're that good.
Damn. Okay.
Because realistically, they had I think it was 44 wins last season with just Jokic.
Okay. All right. I'll accept
So you
that.
you throw Jamal Murray in there, who's like an all-star caliber point guard,
Yeah,
and
by
Michael
far.
Porter Jr., who's like a most improved caliber guy.
Sure.
Like he's probably like a most improved contender. You're looking at like 50 something wins.
Yeah, I mean, if nothing else, that's a team that's fighting.
Yeah, exactly. So I think the Nuggets could put up a fight if they're healthy, but I think the Suns should win it. The Suns should have they have no reason to lose it. They're terrific in the regular season. They have Aiton's been improving. I think Aiton's gonna have to take more of a role of like rebounder than offensive guy.
Yeah, I think so too. But I mean, he's more than physically capable of it.
Yeah. I think he's just not assertive enough. But
yeah, I think it is more about play style than ability.
But the Suns have Cam Johnson. They have Mikal Bridges. They have Devin Booker, Chris Paul.
Like, so it'll work.
It's a good team. That's a really good team.
Whenever I play the Suns in 2K, I do love using Chris Paul as a trade piece right away.
Oh man, yeah. Well, he's getting old, so
yeah,
he's not gonna be around.
You still get such a haul for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fleece teams.
Next one we got. I think this one's a no-brainer in terms of who should win, but Sixers Knicks on Christmas Day. I think it's just entertaining to watch someone gets slapped on Christmas Day.
That might be the one that I want to watch Christmas Day.
And I think this is going to be the one. I think if anyone's going to slap anybody, it's going to be the Sixers versus Knicks game. I'm sorry, New York. You guys know how bad you are. You guys are definitely self-aware.
Even if they go get Donovan Mitchell.
They're still bad. They're still going to get slapped. You're facing Joel Embiid and James Harden.
And Joel Embiid has become everything he was supposed to.
Yeah, Joel Embiid should have won the MVP last season. Realistically,
he had a very strong case, if nothing else.
He was really, really good last season. Him alone could probably slap around the Knicks.
Yeah,
because the only guy standing in his way is Mitchell Robinson, and I'm sorry, Mitchell Robinson is not good enough.
I love him, but he's a bit of a bitch.
I don't think he's a good defensive player. He's really, really good defensively. Don't get me wrong, but Joel Embiid is Joel Embiid. Joel Embiid will take him out to the perimeter and then cross him up and pull a spin move poster on Mitchell Robinson. You won't even see it coming.
Oh yeah, he can't defend that.
No, it's like trying to guard Giannis, man.
Yeah, nobody can defend that.
You can't do it. But now the good games, the really good ones. These ones, I kind of have predictions on, but I more so just want to watch what happens. So Grizzlies Warriors, right? I don't know if you remember the Grizzlies Warriors playoff series from the playoffs that just finished.
Oh yeah,
this year. Grizzlies Warriors, they had
the
a
only
super
playoff
heated
series I think I paid attention to.
Yeah, it was a super heated series. Josh started talking smack. He said,
I told you, after the first two games, I thought Memphis had the Warriors swept or something.
Oh, yeah.
And then it was just a total pivot.
Yeah, no, it was completely wrong, but it's fine. But Josh said something along the lines of, come to Memphis on Christmas Day. And then the Warriors were like, that's not how it works, bro. The champions don't go somewhere on Christmas Day. You come to the champs. And so Ja was like, we're gonna do it, we're gonna pull up. They want all the smoke, and here we go, Christmas Day.
Imagine talking like that about a basketball game.
I know, right?
In a park, you know what I mean?
I know, right? It's like
if this was The Wire, East Side, West Side, yeah, you'd talk like that for sure. But it's Christmas Day in the NBA.
Yeah, it's a Christmas Day NBA game. But anyway, I respect the confidence. Yeah, I respect the willingness.
He can back that up.
Yeah, it's Ja Morant. But yeah, I think Warriors are gonna win it because of the Warriors and how do you beat the Warriors? But it's gonna be interesting, right? Because Ja's gonna have a chip on his shoulder. The whole Grizzlies squad is gonna have a chip on their shoulder because they're it's just a group of young guys plus Steven Adams. But Steven Adams isn't even 30 yet though, so
really, I thought he was 35.
No. He's not even 30 yet.
He's he should have retired in my head.
I think he's 28.
Oh my God. There's so many guys like that.
He's in that group with Andre Drummond where they're both
that's
under
exactly
30.
what it is. Did the same thing to me.
Yeah. But yeah, so I think it'll be interesting because the Grizzlies will have something to prove and the Warriors are just going to not want to let them prove it. So it'll be cool to see the back and forth. I think there's going to be a lot of trash talking. Yeah, that. If anything is gonna if there's gonna be a brawl that breaks out in any game, it's gonna be that game.
It's a fun brawl too.
Yeah, I mean they don't necessarily hate each other though. They just like to talk trash.
No, but anytime you can see a rivalry start to bud, it's a good time. And I mean, I just mean rosters alone. You got guys in there who are gonna fight.
So that'll be have you seen Desmond Bane? Big guy.
Oh God, that's what I mean.
Huge man. He's not not tall, but he's.
They got guys who can take and give punches for sure. On both sides.
Crazy, and then Steven Adams, strongest guy in the NBA.
There you go.
Probably just pick someone up and walk out.
He's Ja's rescuer. That's what he is. He goes over.
He's literally Ja's bodyguard. He's literally Ja's bodyguard
by the back of his neck and just kind of come on, you're over here.
And then lastly, on Christmas Day, we got Bucks Celtics.
This is gonna be awesome.
Eastern Conference Finals rematch. I'm pretty sure. No. Semifinals. Eastern Conference Semifinals rematch. Because it was the Heat Celtics. That was the Eastern Conference Finals.
Don't ask me to reference a past NBA playoffs. I can't do it. So.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I'm just correcting myself before someone else does.
Nobody's listening to correct you. I promise.
This is true. This is true. For Eastern Conference semifinals rematch, Bucks Celtics. Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Let's go.
That's a game there.
That's a great game.
You have Marcus Smart and Drew Holiday, two defensive-minded guards, with two like MVP caliber small forwards and power forwards. Like that's a game right there. Chris Middleton and Jaylen Brown too. Like that's not exact. They're not necessarily
It's a fun
mirror matchups, but yeah, it's not like both teams have the exact same players. But you have like the defensive-minded guard. You have like the second option who's like a decent shooter, who's actually a really good shooter. Sorry, Chris Middleton. I know you're a really good shooter. My apologies. And then you have like the star who's like unstoppable on offense.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's gonna be a good matchup. I think Celtics take it, but like not by a lot.
No, that's like I could see a double overtime type of game out of that.
I could see that one going pretty late into the night. I'm pretty sure it's the last game of the night too.
Oh, it's so the premiere.
We could be going into Boxing Day on that game. Who knows?
Hey man, I guess we're on Christmas break. We can do it.
Yeah, instead of Christmas Day games, it's just a Boxing Day game instead.
That's okay.
I don't have any arguments.
Eat a turkey sandwich, and that's about it.
Maybe with quintuple overtime. Whew. I'd be fine with it.
See, I don't know if the players. I'm the guy who watches sports and plays video games at the same time, so I just hear so much time with a reason to play games.
Exactly. So yeah, I guess that's pretty much the whole schedule. Honestly, the only games that really stood out to me were like the Grizzlies, Warriors, Bucks, Celtics games. But I think those are going to be really entertaining.
I mean, all of those games though are like they're worth turning into.
Yeah. But speaking about Sixers Knicks earlier, we can move on to some overrated, underrated boys.
Let's do it.
He's no longer on the Sixers.
I'm now basically like on Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader? You know what I mean?
Exactly. I just want the outside perspective of the NBA fan. See like what do you think about these guys in terms of your perception of like the media around them and just how you think they are? But we're gonna kick it off with Ben Simmons. Big Ben 10. Now plays for the Nets. What do you think? Overrated, underrated, properly rated?
I knew you were gonna ask, and I still am not prepared. He was an all-star last season. I know he didn't play this year, but he's been like a 3-time all-star.
Yeah.
Wow. In 2018-19, 79 games. The year before, 81, and then since then hasn't hit 60. I think that alone, as an average fan, takes away a lot of it for how much I tune into, a league-wide perspective.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that he's just playing so much less, and I know he gets injured a lot. Yeah, I know that's a problem as a perception. In terms of like, I remember him only as everybody's saying like, he can't shoot, right? Like he can't shoot the three ball.
Yeah, he can't shoot at all.
And I'm seeing like a okay 3-point percentage, but he absolutely just does not take the shot ever.
No, he doesn't. He also just doesn't take shots right now. Like recently, he just hasn't taking shots at all.
Even his field goal percentage, just in general, like looking at his stat page here, I'm not impressed by that whatsoever.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I see he's putting up decent points. That's fine, but those aren't numbers that you would recognize. I don't feel like that's something that gets you on a highlight reel most times. I don't know. I know people are low on him, so I feel like just on that perspective alone, he's underrated. But I think he's probably more accurately rated. I think he's just not that good.
All right, yeah. Honestly, I'd probably say along the same lines.
Like,
I think people are like,
I don't know, a 3-time All-Star is something, but I also trust none of the NBA All-Star voting.
Especially with Andrew Wiggins thinking All-Star starter.
That's what I mean. Like, I don't know. I don't put much faith in that at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably agree with you. Put him in He's properly rated. I think just recently he's been acting like a child, so that hasn't helped out.
Yeah, I think part of it is like when people act like that, they're just really there's drama with players at all that they're like
Yeah,
causing. I generally tune out from them. So
yeah, like you're an NBA player, man. Like,
yeah,
I,
I know it's just like it's a millionaire complaining about their caviar to me. You know what I mean? Like
yeah,
I know that's not fair to look at it. They are just workers in their own right. They play for more money and stuff, but you know, a shorter career and all this and blah blah blah, whatever. I don't know. I like shut up. You're playing in the NBA. Like you're 0.1% of 0.1% type of guy, and you're like some of these guys are the top of the league kind of guys. So like you're even that much smaller of a fraction of the percentage of the entire human population. You know,
yeah, pretty
eat
much.
your fucking cake and shut up. You know what I mean? And I know that's not fair. That's not how I generally look at players, but that's how sometimes they make me feel.
Yeah.
Is a
Moving
therapist
on to
session going?
Ben Simmons's maybe teammate. He might not be his teammate by next season. Who knows?
This weirds
Uh,
me out. Born in Australia?
yeah, yeah. Kyrie Irving. He
What's that
is.
about?
He's Australian.
I never knew that at all at any point.
Yeah, Kyrie Irving is Australian.
All right, I won't get in your way. I'm gonna sit with that.
But where you got him? Overrated, underrated, properly rated?
I don't know. I mean, I know he's been a shit disturber lately in most people's eyes, but I feel like that's kind of been his theme throughout his entire career. I think when he was with Cleveland, he was underrated, as highly rated and touted as he was. I think he was underrated. And I think he probably agreed with that because he wanted out from LeBron's shadow so bad, which
Yeah,
I thought was a stupid move then. I still think it's a stupid move seeing what happened
yeah.
afterwards. But I mean, I don't think he's overrated. I think he's fantastic. I don't think that I could maybe back it up with numbers looking at them right now, but I don't know. I feel like if I'm anybody, like I say it about KD lots, I wouldn't want to bring that to my team. I could see a more realistic scenario where I want to bring Kyrie to my team. So I don't know. I would say he's probably still closer to underrated, but I would say
Yeah,
almost properly rated.
I'd have him kind of improperly rated, but like just barely underrated.
Okay,
Because I think just because of recent stuff, people have been kind of like putting him way lower on the totem pole than he should be.
I agree.
Like, I know that people have him out of like top 10 conversation for point guards. Like,
That
you can't
feels
tell me Kyrie
ridiculous.
Irving is not a top 10 point guard in the league.
No, I think that's unfair.
So, I mean, I don't think he's a top 10 player in the league, but I don't think he's a top 10, or I don't think he's not a top 10 point guard in the league.
I would agree with that statement.
Yeah. I don't think the thing is though, I don't think he's gonna be an all-star for the rest of his career unless he like attitude-wise gets his shit together.
Yeah, I think that's really important, especially in basketball, where not like that a guy like that is necessarily threatened by losing his position or anything. But there's so few spaces. I mean, if you're that much of a problem, they will get rid of you
Yeah,
eventually.
regardless of how good you are.
There's always going to be another chance at a fantastic rookie type of thing. You know what I mean? Like you're
Yeah.
not invincible.
So I mean, if he can get it together, like attitude-wise, I think he's gonna be an all-star multiple times for the rest of his career.
He's been in
But just
like every time he's been traded with big names.
yeah,
I guess
he's always traded with like if he's gonna get
when he went
traded,
to
Russell Westbrook is
Boston,
going
they
somewhere.
traded picks for him. I mean, they got Jay
Yeah.
Crowder and Isaiah Thomas and Ate Zizic and whatever, but the picks they used were Colin Sexton and then Skylar Mays. So I mean, I don't know. I think that's every time he's been involved in something, he's clearly valued very highly by teams.
Yeah. But so that's I think we both kind of agree on here. Kyrie
I
Irving,
like
Ben
this.
Simmons,
I'm two
pretty
for
much
two. I
properly
feel
rated.
like.
Yeah, 2 for 2. I'd agree with you on both of them.
I
Next one is
apologize if there's any noise coming. By the way, my house is like
you're good right now. I
it's
think.
sunny, but the hail is gonna like tear through my roof any minute.
Next one I'm gonna hit you with is a very controversial one. A lot of people have many opinions on this man, Zion Williamson.
I'm just gonna say underrated right now because I think he's a fucking freak, and I don't really care what people say about it. I think he's just an absolute animal. And yeah, if I had any chance to have him on any team at any point, anywhere, I would do everything I could to get him. I'm also blown away. His middle name is Latif, uh, Zion Latif Williamson. So that's something.
But yeah, so I think I kind of agree with you.
You gotta
Again,
go
3 for
against me
3.
at some
You're
point.
going
I
nuts.
can't
I
just
know,
I
but
can't have this
you're
good of a
saying the
view.
same things I'm thinking though, man. Like Zion Williamson is an absolute monster. He's disgustingly good, and I don't think, and a lot of people would put him in overrated because of the injuries, right? Because it's like,
Sure.
and he play a full season, right? Because he
And
played
I kind of
24
just
games in the
applied
first
that to
season.
Ben Simmons, but what
Yeah,
Zion has done when healthy is far better than what
the
Simmons has done
the
when
man was an
healthy.
all-star in his second season.
That's what I mean.
Like he's disgustingly good. However, I don't blame him for the injuries too. I think he's super underrated actually. But I don't think the injuries is his fault. I think the injuries is the Pelicans' fault. One thing I do think was not a good idea was signing a full contract extension with the Pelicans.
Yeah, I
Because
could agree with
as
that.
far as I know, the Pelicans medical staff sucks. Like
Hmm.
they are terrible.
Wasn't that part of the reason AD wanted out of there?
Yeah.
So
So
there you
like
go.
AD got injured a bunch in New Orleans. I'm pretty sure
Yeah,
Brandon Ingram got injured a bunch in New Orleans.
yeah.
Lonzo had problems in New Orleans.
And then they go somewhere else, and guess what? They're doing
They
pretty
do good. Well,
goddamn
except for
well.
Brandon. Brandon Ingram is still there.
Well, you know what I mean.
But I don't know how long Brandon Ingram will stay there for.
I thought he was going to get traded this year.
Me too. I thought he was moving, but he stayed. And I mean, I don't think it was bad that he stayed.
I think this is a good thing StatHead's got on here right now. It says Zion Williamson scored 362 points in the first 15 games of his career. Can you name the only three players since the ABA NBA merger to score more points in their first 15 games? I can't because I'm not that smart,
Yeah,
but
I can't either.
that's impressive. That's very impressive.
It is, yeah. To be one of only
Four
three players
players,
or four players, yeah.
but like
Scored
just God, so many
362.
points, dude.
Well, he averaged 27 points in his second season.
In his rookie season though, he averaged 22 and a half, and he only
Let
played
alone
24 games.
like granted,
So
granted it was only on 24 games,
he
but
didn't
still.
really have time to be bad to climb that list. He was just explosive as fuck.
Like 27 points per game in his sophomore season.
Insane.
Could you imagine what his third season is going to be like? Because obviously he didn't play this season, so
Yeah.
it'll be his fourth year in the NBA, but his third season.
I'm excited to find out.
I think he's going to hit 30. I think he's going to hit 30 points per game.
You have to imagine, especially coming back off this injury, like if he's
Oh,
not
yeah.
still kind of hurt, he's going to be super motivated.
And he's just going to put so many people on posters. The poor NBA, man. It's just gonna be Zion and John, Luca running around, making everyone's lives terrible.
All right, one more.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up with Donovan Mitchell. We've been talking about him a lot recently due to the Knicks trades and all that stuff. Donovan Mitchell. Where do you have him? Spida himself.
You know what? I'm going to say overrated. Barely. Because I do think he's a star. But a lot of 3-point shots going up, which I think definitely helps inflate your points total. Not as many inside field goals as I thought from a guy who I kind of know is like a rim attacker.
Yeah, he's a slasher.
Maybe that's just StatHead misleading me, but I don't know. I don't think that it's far from it. I think he is overrated. I think if he can get to another team where he can do a bit more and he has a bit more around him, I think that's when like I'd feel better calling him a superstar if he can start doing stuff more than like this year he had 26 points per game. But that's higher than his career total to this point, and his rebounds didn't change. His assists were basically the same. So like he's kind of been just consistently great. It's just not like consistently, I think, a superstar. And I know he hasn't played a shitload, and he's been an all-star 3 consecutive seasons. I think it's when he goes somewhere else though, he's like he really takes another step. His numbers really climb.
Yeah. Travis, you read my mind once again. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to
Really?
agree with you. I think he's
Jesus, you
overrated.
are educating the shit out of me apparently.
You're 4 for 4 in my books. I think he's pretty overrated. I like. Don't get me wrong. I think he's great. I think he's just like near the superstar level, but I don't think he's nearly as good as people have been like placing him. Right? Because especially where Utah has been placing him, because Utah wants so much for this man, and like obviously not to the level that Kevin
kind of
Durant, like
rightfully
people want
so.
Kevin Durant, kind of rightfully so. But I don't think he's like he puts up a lot of threes, but not a lot of them go down.
That's the thing.
And he's like he is a slasher. He's Dwayne Wade, basically. He's kind of like a shorter Dwayne Wade, if that makes sense. So
If he
like
was averaging more like 3 from beyond the arc and making like 1.5 to 2 of them, then I'd be impressed by that. If he's also putting up the slasher numbers,
yeah, like I think he's relying a little too much on his 3-point shot, which is kind of ruining his game a little bit. And
it could also be the way that he's being used. I mean, it may be that
but
they're
also
trying to
through the
stress
eye test,
basketball.
he's not necessarily like the most clutch player.
No, I guess that's true.
Like in his series in the bubble, in his series with the Nuggets, he was popping off, and him and Jamal Murray. But it was like him and Jamal Murray were going blow for blow. But the thing is, Jamal Murray is not nearly as good as Donovan Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
So if Jamal Murray is dropping 50 on you, like that kind of says something about you.
Yeah, I guess that is pretty telling.
And so yeah, he's not. I'm gonna go down to his advanced stats real quick, try and look for his opponent stuff. But yeah, so he's not like I don't think he's bad, and I don't think he's like awful by any means. I just don't think he's nearly as good as everyone has kind of been putting him. And I can't find his opponent's field goal percentage, but yeah, I don't think his defense is great. I think he would
His
really need to work on it.
player efficiency rating is steadily increasing every season.
Well, yeah, because I think he's improving. I think
But
he
it's
like
not
obviously
it's
like your
not taking
PER is kind of
leaps
like your
and
main thing.
bounds. I mean, it's moving
No,
up like I guess from 19 to 20 it did when he first became an all-star.
yeah, but like
But
21 to
that's when he
22.
started playing less games as well.
So I mean, and you see is like his usage rating actually it went down a little bit, but so I mean he's getting used a lot. Like a 33% usage rating is a lot to work with.
That is crazy.
So I kind of understand why he's not, performing as well as I would expect him to, because mainly he's been like he plays or the plays go through him a lot more than other players.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of pressure on him to be able to kind of like make the game work, make the plays work. But yeah, I still got him at overrated. I don't think he's going to be like I don't think he's nearly as good as he should be. I'm sorry, Donovan Mitchell. I'm sure you're not watching this, but
I'm still pumped to
if
see what happens with him and what he does next.
oh yeah, I want him to go to New York. I think he would be great in New
Oh, I
York,
think it'd be so great to see him in New York.
and I think New York needs him too.
Oh yeah, I think that helps change their image, at least for the foreseeable future.
Yeah. All right, we're about halfway through our time, so I'm gonna quickly wrap up the basketball stuff. And we can head on to other sports.
Yeah, I got a lot of stuff laid out, so
Yeah.
fire away.
So the
Pop.
league's gonna retire number 6 across all teams. Bill Russell is going to be the third player in sports history to have his number retired across every team.
Jackie
The only other two are
Robinson
Wayne Gretzky and Jackie Robinson.
Wayne Gretzky, really? I don't pay enough attention to
Yeah,
hockey.
99 is retired across every team.
That's awesome. Okay, sweet. That's fucking sick.
The Heat still intend to retire LeBron's number 6
Dude,
jersey.
that sounds like that's like one of those rooms where you're like, what would be like the all-time like guys you would smoke a joint with? You know, like that type of list.
Yeah.
Like those 3 guys, but oh fuck yeah,
Bill Russell, Wayne Gretzky, Jackie Robinson.
Yeah,
that'd be pretty good. But yeah, I don't really know how the Heat are gonna make it work because they want to retire LeBron's number 6 jersey, and rightfully so. LeBron
they can retire both. You know what I mean?
They could. They probably could. You just put both names on there.
He played before it was,
before
retired
Bill Russell
as
died,
Bill Russell. So like.
And then the league just said like any player wearing number 6 right now, so LeBron, is going to be able to wear number 6 until they retire, but they're just not going to hand out new number 6 jerseys.
Oh, I kind of like that.
I think it's a good way of doing it. Apparently, baseball did it the same way with Jackie Robinson.
I guess yeah,
Anyone
took
who
long
was
to go
wearing
for me to know.
42 was allowed to retire wearing 42. They just didn't hand out
That's
any
pretty
number
okay.
42
I like
after.
that. Yeah, I didn't know that's how it's done, but I really
Yeah.
enjoy that.
And I think it's a smart way of doing it instead of just cutting it
Well,
off and
it's
being like,
fair.
okay,
You know
everyone
what I
change your
mean?
number.
And if it's a guy who's getting his number retired on that grandiose scale, it's probably not the guy who would be mad about something like that.
Yeah. Like, you're not really going to tell LeBron, like, change your number.
Although he of all guys, I could see being able to do that no problem.
Well, yeah, LeBron would have no problem with doing it. LeBron would just go to 23 and kick AD off.
There you go.
So,
Man,
I
that's
mean,
awesome.
yeah. So it's pretty cool to join that like club of like having your jersey across or retired across the whole league.
Yeah, that's pretty elite. I'm not gonna
Pretty
lie.
sick, yeah. Well, that's basketball for us.
All right, I'm going to try and burn through some baseball today, but there are some kind of topics going
Yeah,
on here.
we gotta hit a few
I'm
things.
gonna be real brief with the standings update because we haven't done one, I think, since like the first or second episode.
Not even because the first episode was the unofficial one.
Oh,
That
you're
was the
right.
last
This
time
is
we did it.
technically episode 7. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah.
All right, so Boston in the AL East has collapsed once again this season. Baltimore's playing fucking incredible ball. They're one of the hottest teams in baseball. Toronto, Tampa fighting, Yankees struggling, but they have a safe lead. AL Central, Cleveland's 2 games up on Minnesota, as well as the White Sox, and then the Kansas City Royals and the Detroit Tigers are absolutely burning right now. They are the worst teams in baseball by far. AL West, Houston firmly in the lead. They're 12 games ahead of Seattle. It's basically Houston and the Yankees that are the best teams in baseball, so that playoff series is going to be mental. Seattle is playing good baseball. They are in the wild card fight pretty strongly with Toronto and basically the rest of the AL East. Texas, Angels, Oakland, you're all garbage. We can't talk about you. Mets, NL East. The Braves are really pushing for them hard. The Mets just called up a top prospect who's had minimal minor league experience, but they have a hole, and he's been hitting the ball crazily in the minor
Also,
leagues.
next game, right?
What's that?
Mets Braves is their next game.
Yeah, they're playing a series right now, so it's been really fun. Yeah, it's one of the better series matchups to watch in baseball if you see it on. They're both really, really, really good this year. If it wasn't for the Dodgers, they'd be the 2 best teams in the NL. So that's fun. Philly, Miami, and Washington. Philly's doing all right, but Miami and Washington are trash. NL Central, St. Louis, and Milwaukee are having a bloodbath battle. I think they have a series split across the year so far. Their records are almost identical. They're really in a big fight. Chicago Cubs, Cincinnati Reds, Pittsburgh Pirates, all absolute garbage. Can't talk about you. NL West, Dodgers doing Dodger things, Padres. God, they cannot catch a break. They're fighting for that wild card spot, but they are 17 games back of the Dodgers. There's no way anybody can catch them. Same as the Yankees. San Francisco is kind of there with them, but they're not going to make much of a push. And Arizona and Colorado are doing what they always do, which is sucking. So, a couple good series going on right now, but for the most part, we're waiting for the playoffs for things to get really interesting. Unless you're into stretch runs for some certain teams, but it's kind of a crapshoot. So. Now, because we have so much news, because we've had to wait for a couple extra days to record here, I guess, I'm going to do a brief baseball news. So, Nathan, if you have anything to add about some of the things I'm saying, feel free to jump in whenever. I included a couple of links if you want to check out some guys I talked about. Yeah, so I think I even have a little tune. So, baseball news briefs. Here we go. Fernando Reyes DFA'd by the Guardians. He got picked up off waivers by the Cubs and hit a homer. And I absolutely love this guy. I think he's a freak in the video game, the show. He is a glitch. He's an MVP candidate every year and like a franchise in that. I really wanted the Jays to pick him up. They were They signed Jackie Bradley Jr. at a free agency. I'm like, I know you need defense and stuff, and now Bradley Zimmer's gone, but this guy has a bat that in the AL East would explode. He's done well in Chicago so far in like
Yeah,
limited games.
his OPS is kind of disgusting right now.
Yeah, his numbers are kind of looking more like peak Reyes numbers, which is weird in Chicago. It's not really a hitter's friendly ballpark. So good for him. Matt Carpenter fractured his foot a couple weeks ago now, I think. He's out 7 to 8 weeks. Bit of a hit to him and the Yankees. He was like a really fun veteran story this year. Chris Sale, poor guy, broke his wrist riding his bike. He made one start this year, injured himself in it, got hit by a pitch and broke his pinky. We talked about it. He's done for the season with another surgery.
Oh
He's
my
missed like
god,
3 years
poor
now
guy.
or something. It's like he hasn't pitched much since 2019 at all. Um, really sucks for him and the Red Sox. They could use him so bad. This one's an awesome story. One's coming out of Colorado right now too with another guy, but Joey Meneses, he's an 11-year minor leaguer. He makes the Nationals roster because they're terrible, and he's been mashing since he came up. I think he had a multi-homer game, his first game or something. He's just exploded. So that's really fun. Good for the Nationals to have something to root for. The Tire Fire Tigers that we talked about fire Al Avila, their general manager, after 22 years, trying to shake it up. Vaughn Grissom, top prospect in the Braves system, gets called up. And if you haven't seen this, go check it out. I encourage everybody to look it up. His first career hit is an absolute mammoth home run over the Green Monster in Fenway Park. It's fucking huge. And when he gets back to the dugout, the rest of the team gathers around the iPad so they can all watch it again together. It's so awesome. So check that out. DL Hall, he's a pitching prospect, one of the top pitching prospects for the Orioles. He made his debut against the
That's
Rays. Not a good debut. Struggling. Well, I shouldn't say struggling Rays team. They're ahead of the Blue Jays right now. But they knocked him out of the game. Not all the way through 4 innings. He gave up 5 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks. He had 6 strikeouts. His ERA after his first start is at 12.27, which is horrendous.
yeah,
He only
that's
had six
disgusting.
swinging strikes, which I found interesting. At first, I tricked myself into thinking he only got strikeouts on 6 swinging strikes. That's awesome, but that didn't make any sense because I'm a moron. So he had 14 swinging strikes, which is still low when you put them together. 20 out of 76 pitches thrown. Not something you want to see. You really need to attack the zone more, but he's a young kid. He's going to do it. Canadians, we love him. Joey Votto, we love
Canadian.
him. All-time leader of major league games played by a Canadian. That is a serious congratulations to Joey Votto. Trains in Etobicoke every off season. If you're from
Little
out of
legend.
Canada or even in Canada and you didn't know that's how that was pronounced, you thought it was Etobicoke.
No,
Um,
it is Etobicoke.
you're wrong, and he'll hit you with a baseball bat if he heard. No, he wouldn't. He's very nice.
He's Canadian.
Rangers fire Chris Woodward after 4 years. Their GM or their manager right now. Um, Called for. They spent $500 million. I don't know what they were expecting. They still suck. Shea Langeliers gets called up for the Oakland A's. He was one of the big time prospects for Matt Olson when he went to Atlanta. He plays catcher. He's raking. Hopefully he does something to get out of Oakland soon. Edwin Diaz, if you haven't seen his closer entrance, go watch it now. It is the most electric thing in baseball currently on one of the most electric teams. The stadium goes mental. The song has become like one of the top trending songs across Spotify and other platforms lately. Um, Literally propelling the game of baseball forward just by coming into the game and being the most elite pitcher in baseball. And they're coming back. Closer walkouts are coming. They're coming back, and I fucking love it. I'm here for it. Blue Jays Jordan Romano with their new light system and everything in the stadium. He comes out to a pretty electric one. It's special that he's a Toronto area guy and he's pitching there and he's so good. Miguel Bautista might have my favorite because I've been brainwashed by The Wire. If you haven't watched it, you have to. He comes out in Baltimore, which is where the show takes place, to Omar whistling, the farmer in the Dell. If you haven't seen the show, Omar, he, in his words, robs drug dealers. That's what he does. I robs drug dealers. That's what he tells the cops.
Nice.
He strolls into a neighborhood with his shotgun and he whistles that, and everybody scatters. Omar, Omar. Everybody runs away, and all the drug dealers just kind of throw their drugs out the window to him, and he picks them up and leaves. He's a badass. But so he comes out to that. The whole stadium goes quiet. The whistle plays. He walks out of the bullpen. Pretty gangster. I hope every team does it when they have like an elite closer for a season. He earns some type of personal thing like that because that's so fun. Such a reason to stay watching a
That's pretty
baseball game.
sick, yeah.
Go check them out if you haven't. You have to look them up. Miguel Bautista and Edwin Diaz. You'll get hyped. So this is the big one of the. I think you could argue the biggest talk of the day.
Yeah, I'd say so.
I
The poor
think you
Padres.
probably have some thoughts on this, Nathan.
Yeah, he's on my fantasy roster.
Oh, you're right. You were gonna get him for the stretch run and the playoffs.
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Fernando Tatis Jr. PED suspension, 80 games, was making a rehab comeback in the minors, was mashing. He tested positive for, I think it's called clostebol. Not sure. Dr. Travis
sure.
did not have time to come out this week. It is an anabolic steroid. He originally said it was for ringworm, which we think it was. But there's a lot of shit coming out about it right now. A-Rod was talking about it on the K-Rod broadcast the other night. But before we get to that, a couple of cool notes about this. Not necessarily cool, but if the Padres make the playoffs, those games count towards his suspension count. So theoretically, if they played through the playoffs, they might get him back in the first week or two of next season.
Yeah. Which, I mean, that would be good for them.
That would be that's a pretty great incentive if you're that team, to be honest. Something to rally around. He can't play in the World Baseball Classic for the Dominican Republic this year, and he's going to lose about just under $3 million in this missed time. He was going to come back next week, actually, and now instead he won't be back until supposedly the first month or so of the season, first 2 months next season. So
unless they make playoffs.
If
it has to be like a deep playoff run, though.
The thing is, too, and this doesn't apply to him, but had it happened in a timeline where it worked, if he came back after this from his injury, he wouldn't be eligible for the postseason this year. PED positive players aren't allowed to play in the postseason that year, so that's kind of interesting as well. But yeah, I don't know. His dad and him had a big thing on like a radio show where he was berating and freaking out about the. I mean, his dad's like a great major league player. He played for 11 seasons, 97 to 2010, whatever. He was a good player. Anyway, he said that this was from a haircut. I guess he got ringworm from a haircut, and this is a pretty common topical medication. There's actually, I think, a couple other guys. Yeah, Freddie Galvis and D. Strange Gordon. They were previously suspended for using clostebol, but it's ophthalmological and dermatological usage. It's in over-the-counter stuff that you would use for ringworm or other skin treatments. But it is banned by the World Doping Agency, and there was an Olympic gold medal cross-country skier, I think, that was suspended for testing positive for it. But I don't know. It makes the story more believable in my mind. It's still stupid because as a player of that caliber, you should never get anything that doesn't come directly from your team doctor because that's their job.
True. Because they'll know what's not banned.
Well, that's their job. That's their whole point. You know what I mean? Like that list of banned substances it's a legal document. It's very long. There's a lot of shit on there.
There is, yes.
As a player, every sport, you can't know that. You can't know everything on there. That's why you have a team.
That's why there's a team doctor, because that guy knows everything.
That's exactly.
Or at least you would assume.
So anyway, Tatis Sr. was on a radio program, Z101 Digital's Hector Gomez show. I'm not sure. And they talked about it, and it was about, getting a fungus after a haircut, whatever. But his dad had a couple quotes here I'm going to read. I don't think there was a reason to destroy the image of a player over something as minor as that. This is a catastrophe, what has taken place, not just for Junior, but for all of baseball. There are millions of fans who are going to stop watching baseball now. It's a total disappointment for Dominican fans throughout the world, for something so insignificant, it wasn't worth it. Okay, I kind of get you. I understand what you're saying. Like
I
Chris
don't
Rock
agree with
said,
the part that a lot of people are going to stop watching baseball, though.
Well,
I
I
don't think
think a
it's
lot of
true.
people are going to stop wanting to watch Tatis, and I think that's kind of what
Yeah,
he's saying without saying.
I guess. Yeah.
Because all of this sounds like this isn't my boy's fault, which
Well, like even the thing is though,
sort
like
of,
he
but
plays for the Padres, right? So
I know that's still a team
I
everybody's
would
going to
still
watch no
watch the
matter what.
Padres. Yeah. Like
Yeah, and I mean, I don't think a lot of people, and I mean, I can't speak for it. This is the biggest PED thing since Robbie can
yeah,
know. And I was kind of too young for that, even other than some of the later ones. But
yeah.
I mean,
I'm
he's
not
been
necessarily
compared
like
to A Rod
downplaying the
heavily.
severity of it.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
people still hate A Rod in New
I
York for
mean, look
that.
at like Barry Bonds, right?
Well, yeah, that's the whole thing.
Like
I discredit
bro
that home
had
run count. I
bro
totally
had
do.
one hell of a career, but like it's also
The saddest part about him, and I guess you could say this for Tatis if it was of that caliber, they didn't need this for their careers to be
yeah,
amazing.
no. Barry Bonds would have been disgusting
Barry
without.
Bonds was going to make the Hall of Fame
Yeah,
without steroids. He just
yeah.
was. So I don't know. I'm not a fan of this at all. I don't think that it's fair for what's going to happen to his career because of it. I
Yeah.
also don't think that you can feel that sorry for him.
No, I think realistically he should have checked with the team doctor. He should have
Absolutely. And I mean, I know that there's
ran
been
out
a
the
lot of things like he is the face of baseball. He was supposed to be the face of
yeah,
baseball. And between like the motorcycle accidents, the playing soccer in the outfield when he's injured, this like he's really not wanting the face of baseball title, I guess. But when you
no,
consider it
yeah.
this way, Nathan, and I kind of felt like a dick after having all these thoughts when I considered this, he's only 2 years older than us. And he
Oh, so he's a
signed one of the
young
biggest
guy.
baseball deals in the history of baseball deals. The man is
Yeah.
paid. If somebody gave you that amount of money, how reckless do you think you'd probably wind up being? Because whether you're hurt or not, it doesn't
I feel
matter.
like I would have like I would have pressure to not be reckless though.
You would think, but at the same time, I mean, we also don't have anything like the experience he does. But
I mean, yeah,
you're
obviously we
paid.
don't make
Like
millions
you
of
can
dollars,
consider that money yours at this point. You better not go
yeah,
spend it, but you can consider it yours. You're getting it.
yeah.
Whether it works out like Bobby Bonilla or not, you're getting that money.
So I
I
mean,
don't know.
I get I don't know. Yeah, I get where he's coming from. Where like Tatis Senior is coming from. I get where like, and I agree with it. Shouldn't with you saying like it shouldn't necessarily ruin his career as much as it probably will be.
The thing is,
But
he has
also
more than
like
enough time to repair this image. He's
yeah,
only
true. Yeah, he's
23.
only 2 years older than us. But I think he was just also him being really stupid.
Yeah, it's definitely
It's
dumb. And
just,
he has a
and
couple quotes
I don't
too
necessarily
about
even
that.
think it was just his fault. I think the team should have been more on the
Well,
ball with it.
that's the thing. I mean, he is your franchise basically. Now that
Yeah.
you have Soto, that's fine. You covered your asses at the
Like if I
deadline.
am the Padres, like I'm gonna be. I would be more on top of this. I would be more
I would
like
think you just gave
I'd want to
him
know.
all the money. And if he's got ringworm, I want to fucking hear about that.
Yeah, don't be like,
We can
oh, I'm
fix
gonna treat
that
it
very
myself and then
easily.
tell you later.
Don't go to fucking Walgreens. We can fix that very easily,
Yeah,
the right way. So he does say, I should have used the resources available to me in order to ensure that no banned substances were in what I took. I failed to do so. I have no excuse for my error, and I would never do anything to cheat or disrespect this game I love. So I mean, he knows, but he's had more than enough chances at this point. I mean, all I hear when I think about this is like that press conference when he hurt himself in the motorcycle accident, and they asked him about it, and he said, which one? Which implies you crashed your motorcycle multiple
multiple
times.
times. Yeah,
So if you do it once, why would you do it? Why would you get on one
yeah,
again when you're that guy?
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like it's just, and AJ Preller had a couple comments too where it shakes my trust in a guy because you would think he would learn from his past mistakes, and it's
Yeah,
showing a pattern of him not learning from these mistakes. Now, keep in mind, like it's not like he's violent. It's not like he's on drugs. It's not like he's
no,
shooting up nightclubs or
he's
anything
just
crazy.
making
He's
bad
just
decisions.
hurting himself.
Yeah,
So it kind of sucks. But I was listening to Talking Baseball, and John Boyd very jokingly mentioned about bringing Robbie Cano in earlier this season for like the week that they did. And if you don't know, Robbie Cano is a pretty solid history of steroid use. Um, Not saying that happened, but it's a not a good looking coincidence if you're the
It
Padres.
is
You
not.
probably go, kind of wish we could take back that week just to save face. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's kind of funny. I also found it funny. I saw an article when I was looking about this that said Jonathan Papelbon, who, if you don't know, is a he's in his mid 30s. He's a closing pitcher, I think, for the Nationals. He says he's drilling him every AB, and with the suspension, I would be surprised if he was in the league the next time
He
Tatis
was still
plays.
there.
So I'm like, why are you so fired up? Like you're a pretty washed
Yeah.
pitcher in the league. You're old. I don't know if you're gonna get
Also,
that
like
chance.
I feel like drilling him at every at bat is a little bit of a unnecessary.
You're only gonna soften the rest of the blows for him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if
Like
everybody
people are
starts
gonna look at
peppering
that and be like,
him,
okay, he doesn't
they're gonna
deserve that.
rejoin his side.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think this is something if you are interested in this kind of stuff, it's a great storyline to watch for entertainment. But as a Padres fan, a minor Padres fan, I am deeply hurt right now. This sucks. But anyway, yeah. So moving on to some other news, we're gonna breeze through some other sports
I
here.
love this video. I
This
watched the whole thing.
video is
So
so
funny.
funny. Case Keenum
So
went undercover for autographs. If you don't know who Case Keenum is, he's an NFL quarterback. I think he's played for like 6 teams in 9 years, and he's playing with the Bills now. He's a backup to Josh Allen. So him and the Bills decided they would dress him up, put a hat on him, put some glasses on him, and he would go undercover during training camp and try to get autographs from teammates and see if they recognized him because he's just like I'm Josh Allen's backup. Like nobody knows who I am. I'm just kind of the guy in the locker room. So it's really funny. He looks hilarious. He looks crazy. He's talking in a weird voice. And most of the guys are kind of like not noticing him or
yeah.
like just
Or
being
like
like,
it
is
took him a
that?
while to
Yeah, it took
notice.
them a little while, but
Yeah.
one of the
The
best
reactions
ones.
are great.
Oh yeah, the reactions are awesome. Even fans don't like pay attention to him.
Yeah.
They just think he's another guy. Even the security guards did. They looked at his
Yeah, they tried to
credentials,
tell him to
and yeah, they tell him they have to go behind the fences with the other fans. And he asked Quentin Morris, one of their tight ends, who his favorite backup quarterback is, and he just said, "I like them both." Like, I don't know. I don't even know who those guys are. So
That's
it's
great.
hilarious. You got to check it out. A little bit
Oh, this
more.
makes me so
Oh,
sad. This upcoming thing makes me so sad.
really? What? Do you know
He's my
what it
starting
is?
quarterback in fantasy.
Oh my God, you're a terrible luck fantasy guy. Holy
I know,
shit.
right?
All right, Tom Brady is going to miss a couple weeks of camp due to personal reasons. Nobody knows why if you're not in the Tampa Bay locker room, apparently. Todd Bowles and the rest of the front office said they knew it was coming. Apparently, it was long scheduled ago. They were totally prepared for it. They have a high level of confidence he'll be back for week 1. The players know what's up. They've been quoted as saying they're praying for him and they're letting him do his business. Nobody has slipped what it was. They asked if it was an issue with his health. He said it was a personal matter, and we don't really need to worry about it. So I don't know. Maybe he's
Yeah, maybe he's
running
back,
low on
but
his superhero
literally,
serum or something.
had we
I don't
done the
know.
draft a week later, I wouldn't have grabbed Tom Brady.
That's really depressing. That's a
The
kick to
rest
the
of my team is
nuts.
pretty solid, though. The rest of my team is pretty solid. So maybe.
Give me a rundown. Let's go.
Oh, I gotta go pull it up.
Oh my God. All right. Well,
Here,
yeah,
let
I
me
don't know.
go look. You keep talking. I'll look
I think
for it.
if anybody, I mean, veterans do get more of a run in camp to kind of do what they want, especially a guy like Tom Brady. He's not fighting for a job. That's for goddamn sure. So I don't know. I don't think it's a problem. I am worried it's, you don't ever want to hear if somebody's like experiencing, a dramatic death in the family or something. And, he is an older man at this point. Like there are people in his life who may be of the age of passing away type of thing. And so, you hope he's all right. But in terms of football, that's not a guy you need to worry about coming back and being shaky or anything. It's pretty much a guarantee he's going to the playoffs and he's going to make a run at this
Oh
point.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I don't know.
All
I don't
right,
worry if
here's
I'm
what I
Tampa
got.
Bay fan.
So my starting quarterback is Tom Brady.
Okay.
My starting running back is DeAndre Swift.
Okay.
Then I got Brees Hall as well. We have Devontae Adams running my wide receiver, which
That's a
is
good pick.
very nice to have. Michael Pittman's running my other wide receiver spot. We got Amari Cooper in the flex spot.
Okay.
TJ Hawkinson is my tight end.
Good one.
And then my other flex is Gabriel Davis. So,
Not a name I know.
being on the Bills, though, I think I'll
Oh,
get
okay. Well, the
yeah.
offensive player on the Bills, you have a chance.
Yeah. Then my defensive squad is the Chargers, and my kicker is Young Ho Koo.
Yeah,
And
okay.
I grabbed him just because, it's Young Ho Koo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why not?
Asian respect.
Then exactly, literally. Then my bench is kind of just a bunch of like random guys. I got Chris Olave on the bench. He's not
Your
too
bench
bad.
will be totally different 4 weeks into the season anyway.
Oh
so.
yeah. My bench is getting swapped out constantly. My defensive squad too is gonna get swapped out.
Oh yeah, I
constantly.
sometimes have like 3 defensive squads a season.
And the best thing about all of this is my first week matchup is against my brother.
Oh, classic. He's a little bit more famous for
He
actually checking his fantasy teams, though, right?
he knows a little more about me than for football.
You're like
Basketball, we're pretty
you're a
even.
draft guy. You're a draft guy.
Yeah, well, it depends. Basketball, I'm checking like daily.
That's true. I guess that's your thing, though.
But like football, I'm still working on that one. I got a
It's
good
experimental.
team name though.
Oh
Too a
yeah.
little, too a late.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's a good one. So now you have to go get Tua, right?
Oh, I don't think he's available, but
You're gonna have to make a trade just to back that up now that
I
fucking
might have
Brady's
to.
out.
I might have to change my team name because of it. But too a little, too a late's a good
I
one
don't know.
for
I
me.
don't think he's out. I think he'll be fine. But
I think
anyway.
it'll be fine. Yeah.
So on a little bit of feedback, which please keep it coming. Even if you know me, send me a mean text. I don't care. Let me know what you're liking and not liking. So I decided to branch off into some other sports today to get us a bit of
Oh, look at you
a
go.
fresh look, and it's something we probably should be doing because both of them have been swinging the entire time the podcast has been going.
True. Yeah.
We're going to take a look at golf really quick, the FedEx Cup and the St. Jude Championship. It was at TPC Southwind. If you have like a PGA game, really fun course to play in the games. This is more like just kind of a highlight thing. Watch some of the plays. It went into like a really exciting playoff. It was really good. $15 million purse on the line. And a guy named Will Zalatoris won. Now, if you don't recognize the name, you'll recognize him. He was Happy Gilmore's caddy in Happy Gilmore. He was the little blonde, curly-haired kid who's getting choked out on the greens and having to deal with that weird bearded guy who bathes in the ponds. That's him, and now he's a PGA champion. So that's pretty cool. He just went and won himself 15 million. He just recently got engaged too. So that guy's crushing life right now. But go check out some of the highlights. It's golf always makes me like feel bad about myself, even if I have a decent round. I struggle to break 100. And watching these guys, it's like I can't even do that well in the video games. Like I that's
Yeah. No,
so
I'm so
impressive.
bad.
It's
Both in real
crazy.
life and video games. I can't play golf.
I'm
Man.
going golfing on Saturday with my
Or
childhood best friend, who I have literally never golfed with. We just never have for some reason.
when everyone's back in town, we should run tea time at some
We
point.
should run a tea time. We should go screw up the Brock golf course.
Oh yeah.
Every time I drive by there after working at a golf course for 6 years, I'm like, I can make that place so much better. But yeah, no, we should do that for sure. So yeah, check that out. It's good. I don't have any more golf news because it's just one championship at a time.
Yeah.
I don't know enough players. But this is the other thing I would maybe argue is the biggest news of the day.
I think this is huge. Yeah.
This is massive.
I think this
Not
is
even in
probably arguably the biggest news out of all the stuff we have to talk about.
It might be the biggest news just this month. Like it's not out of
Yeah.
everything. Like it's not even just a sports thing. This is on a human level. This is a big deal. Serena Williams
Yeah.
is retiring. 23 Grand Slam singles titles, unless she does something dramatic at this current Open, makes her the all-time winningest of any gender tennis player in the modern incarnation of tennis. Rafael Nadal got his 22nd at this year's French Open. He might tie her or pass her, but
He's
I don't know.
running out of time too. So
He's running out of time. Everybody knows who Serena Williams is. If you don't, I don't know where you have been ever. She's won almost 100 million in prize money alone, not counting her sponsorships.
Oh, she got a movie named or made after her.
Dude, that is
King
insane.
Richard.
That is so much money.
Yeah, that's true. It's crazy.
I did see a story about apparently 24 was the number to beat within tennis world. Apparently, that's the number of times Margaret Court won a Grand Slam single title before retiring in '77. But she won the majority of her slams before the open era of tennis, in which pros and
Oh yeah,
amateurs compete against each other.
so
It
it's
started
like
in '68, so 9 years before she retired, but she would have won a lot of them earlier. That
it's
was
kind of along the lines of the Bill Russell's 11 rings.
sort of, yeah, sort of,
But, like,
exactly. She
not a one-to-one comparison, but still the
Yeah,
kind of
but
the
I mean,
same analogy.
she competed with wooden rackets. There was no
Yeah,
dominance of top spin, which apparently is the de facto style of play today.
and
And
100 mile an
serves are
hour.
well over 100 miles an hour now. She never had to
Yeah,
face that. So
no.
it's kind of not counted, but I know if you're Serena Williams, you want to surpass that and just crush it anyway. And this is from an article from The Atlantic. So it was a solid article. It was really good. But it was referencing the Vogue article in which she came out with her retirement for. And it's an awesome article. If you can read it, it's really, really good. It's where I got a lot of this information. But yeah, she wants to leave tennis. She wants to expand her family and have another child and be there for her, the rest of her family. I didn't know she was with and married to and had a family with Alexei Ohanian. He is the Reddit co-founder. That's
Oh, I didn't
just
know that.
that seems weird in my head.
It
Like
does seem like
how
kind
do
of a
those
weird thing.
two
Serena
meet?
Williams and a Reddit co-founder?
Like, is he a huge tennis fan?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't know. I didn't
That
even
guy
know who he
probably
was,
has a
to be honest.
shitload of money. So like I could see like if I had a lot of money, maybe I'd want to go watch tennis once in a
Oh,
while.
yeah,
But
yeah.
like I don't know, it just seems so straight. I never would have
It
guessed
does.
that's who it was. Um, but yeah, she just said like at this point, she can't have another child and still be Serena Williams in tennis. Like it's just
Yeah. I
she's
mean,
I think
I
she's like
respect it.
41 or something, and I mean she's still a fucking beast.
Yeah.
Um, she said, I think she didn't want to even use the word retire. She said, the best word to describe what I'm up to is evolution. I'm here to tell you that I'm evolving away from tennis towards other things that are important to me, which is such a gangster way to put it.
That's such a good way to put
Like,
it,
no,
yeah.
I'm not retiring from tennis because I am tennis. I'm just
I
evolving
am
to a
women's
higher
tennis. Like,
level, which she
that's
is.
true.
She
She
totally is
is women's
evolving.
tennis. She is the face of women's tennis.
She not only that, just in terms of like women's diversity in sport and really
Oh,
in a lot of in
100%. Yeah.
society. I mean, she's done so much for girls, for women, for people of color, for everybody. I mean, she's
She
like
incredible.
one of the greatest humanitarians that's ever walked the face of the earth, I think. She's also probably one of the most dominant tennis players ever walked the face of the earth. She shares the record for consecutive weeks spent as world number one for 186 weeks with Steffi Graf.
Jesus.
You're the best in the world for 186 weeks.
That's crazy.
Nathan, if you were the best in the world at anything for that amount of time, you would
For that
never need
amount,
to do
yeah.
anything again.
No.
Being that good at fucking Rubik's cubes, you would make enough
You're
money to be
immediately
okay
goaded.
on. Like it's just like
Like,
that's crazy. That's so crazy to me. She's four Olympic gold medals. Her and her sister are tied, and they've won doubles together and stuff.
yeah,
And she's reported to be the highest earning female athlete of all time.
that checks out.
That's crazy. That's so crazy. That's a brag. I'm not gonna lie. That's a brag.
Yeah, that's one
Uh,
hell of a brag.
she said, "I'd like to think that thanks to opportunities afforded to me, women athletes feel that they can be themselves on the court. They can play with aggression and pump their fists. They can be strong yet beautiful. They can wear what they want, say what they want, and kick butt and be proud of it all." Fucking awesome. That's such a good summary of kind of what she is and who she is. I
Yeah,
mean, fucking fantastic. And then I grabbed a couple points that were in one of these articles of kind of some of the key points in her career just for, like I know I'm too young to have watched most of her career, especially since my family wasn't really into
yeah. We
tennis until
obviously caught
recently,
like the latter end of
which is
most of
enough,
the
which is
careers,
the
which is
a real
still yeah,
testament.
more than enough.
But her first big wins were in '97. Her and Venus debuted at the same Chicago Ameritech Cup, which is now defunct. I think Venus was 17 and she had kind of already come out into the tennis world, and Serena was 16. And Serena, I think, won the first two rounds after being ranked 304, and she lost, but it kind of brought her into the spotlight. '99 was her first Grand Slam singles title. She defeated her sister Venus in the semis, which I thought was pretty interesting.
Yeah, she was
Um,
ranked 304th, and 2 years later, she wins a Grand Slam.
yeah, and not only that, but I'm pretty sure '99 was the start of her first Serena Slam, where she had two runs of four consecutive Grand Slam titles in a row.
Crazy.
So in 2001, this is a big defining moment, one of the biggest in her career, I believe she said, was the racism she experienced at Indian Wells. Um, there was accusations of match fixing uh, against her father, Richard Williams, like you mentioned, Nathan, because Venus was forced to withdraw from her round due to a tendonitis injury. And
Yeah.
so when Serena stepped out onto the court, she was overwhelmed with boos. Um, every one of her errors got cheered, and Venus and Richard sat courtside and had to listen to, like, they were were being racist to them and telling them things, and they were yelling at one of his daughters out there in the court. I mean, he just had to sit there and they had to take it.
Yeah,
And
that's awful.
I don't remember if she won or lost, but after that she boycotted the event quietly for 14 years, and she ended up going back in 2015. And she was cheered when she came back. It was a really professional and incredible protest for what
Yeah.
she did for that long. 2002 was the first time she was world ranking number one. Part of that was because she beat Venus in the first round of an Open, I believe, and then crushed in the next rounds on on her Serena Slam run, and it kind of helped her step out of Venus's shadow at the time. And then later in that year at the Australian Open, she had to beat Venus in the finals in what was called a nail biter. It sounded like it was a very crazy game from what I know about tennis. To win four in a row, which matched Steffi Graf from '94, and she had to beat her sister, and that's what gave her the number one ranking spot. So that's
5 years later.
but that's such a crazy story arc
Only
too.
5 years later, you had to beat your sister for the number one ranking.
Who was like considered the better sister for a lot
Yeah.
of it. So that was huge. And then obviously 2017, I remember this. She won the Australian Open
Yeah,
with
this
pregnant.
wasn't this was
Most
nuts.
people should remember that. And just as a simple fact of physical human capabilities, I don't know how that happens. I mean, obviously I don't know what being pregnant is like, but I have to
Yeah.
imagine
But
I
we
would
could
really
imagine that
struggle
it's
to play
pretty
tennis while doing
difficult.
so.
We can imagine regardless of
I'm
tennis alone already is difficult.
I'm kind of just a chubby guy, and I think I would struggle to play tennis. If I had another person growing inside of me, I think I'd be pretty fucked up.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play.
And she wins the Australian Open. Like,
It's crazy. It's not
yeah.
yeah, she didn't even it's not only she played, she won.
Hmm. But yeah, the article, the Vogue article, you can find it. It's got a lot of images from her previous Vogue interviews and covers throughout the years, celebrating a lot of these moments. And it's put together really, really well. It's a really interesting article. Um, but really quickly, before we sign off here, I did find a little bit like the Western and Southern Tennis Opens going on right now. My mom loves tennis. She's really upset when Bianca Andreescu got booted out by Zhang. But Zhang is looking really good from what I've seen, and I've seen a couple articles in some of her matches since then, and that lady's very good at tennis. I did see a news article about a tennis player named Simona Halep, I believe. She's become the eighth tennis player ever to surpass 40 million in career prize money. She's Romanian, and she won the 24th WTA title of her career at an event in Toronto. And I got the top 10 career prize money leaders for the ATP and WTA combined, and it's kind of a interesting list, especially in the numbers. Um,
Yeah.
number
There's a lot of
one,
names I'm recognizing too.
yeah, number one, Novak Djokovic, almost 160 million, I believe that is, Nathan.
Yeah. I mean, he ran men's tennis for
And then kind of
a
his
good
counterpart is
5 to
Rafael
10 years.
Nadal.
Though I think those top three, Nadal, Federer, and Djokovic,
Yeah,
they run men's tennis. Like
and
they
they
are
they
men's
run
tennis.
tennis in general. I think it's fair
That's
to
true.
say. I
Yeah.
mean, they have 160, and then both Nadal and Federer are right around 130 million. And then
Yeah.
fourth
So
is Serena Williams at almost 95 million, which is It's a big drop from the top three, but what's more impressive
It's
is the
still
jump
crazy
it
though.
makes going down further.
Yeah, now
Andy
you're going
Murray,
down another like 30 million.
yeah, Andy Murray, who's an incredible tennis player, and I've known about for a long time, is just
Yeah.
over 60 million. Pete Sampras, who played a while ago when there wasn't as much money, but was the best tennis player, 43. Venus Williams, only 42 million. Basically less
I
than
guess back
half of what
then,
Serena
yeah,
won.
I guess back when she was winning a bunch, there was significantly less
I
money involved.
guess, but I mean, they've both won so much. I don't know if it's just
Oh yeah,
Venus's career was shorter or what.
maybe.
And then, of course, Simona Halep, as I mentioned, Maria Sharapova at 38 million, and Caroline Wozniacki. I think she's 80s, maybe before then,
No,
35 million.
she's.
Oh, am I
I
way
think
off?
she's a little more recent, is she not?
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I didn't recognize the name whatsoever.
Let me take a look. No, yeah, she's only 32.
Oh, wow. I apologize
Yeah,
sincerely. My God. Wow. Okay. My apologies. So she's
she
got
went
time
pro in
then.
2005.
Oh, wow. That's cool. That's one thing that's crazy to me. Tennis players go pro at like 15, 16, 17 type of
Yeah, it's
stuff.
wild.
Well, I've said it before. I'll say it again. I couldn't have gone pro at anything at that age.
Me neither. No,
And they're going against literally the best in the world, just like right now.
that's crazy. It's wild.
So yeah, that's there's some stuff going on in tennis. So
Yeah.
try to diversify the lineup today a little bit. As always, let us know if there's anything we missed or that you wanted to hear or that you'd like to hear about again. Um, Nathan, what are you thinking, buddy? How do you feel after today?
Uh,
Now that we can
I feel
hopefully
pretty
put
good.
things
I
back up
mean,
again.
apologies for dropping like 3 episodes on you guys
I
all
don't
at
know.
once.
If I were the one
But
listening, I would be happy to be showered with 3 episodes.
that's
Although I
true.
know
If
with
you got a
sports it
lot
gets
of
out of date
content,
fast, but I
yeah, I
hope we're
wouldn't
interesting enough
necessarily
to listen
listen to
to.
them all in. I wouldn't listen to them all in one sitting. That might be too
That
much.
might be aggressive. I'd get
But
sick of me after that much time.
I mean, thank you for listening. If you are,
Yeah, thank you so
if you made
much.
it this far, congratulations
Um,
once again.
Reward yourself. Click the like button or the bell on YouTube. Uh,
Yeah,
Feel free to head over to our Twitter, as I said, totally off pod or totally offside. I think it's totally off pod.
I think it's
It's
totally off
terrible.
pod.
I don't know this off by heart by now. Yeah, we put out episode updates there. Talk a lot of them there. We have a lot of content shared through that. So if you want to reach us,
Yeah,
it's a good way to do it. We do have an
tell your
email if you
friends,
ever
tell your
wanted to send
family.
us anything. Tell your friends.
Yeah, you want to
Um,
sponsor us? Let us
if
know.
you want to sponsor us, I'll say anything. I'm considering
We'll
getting a
show
Bud
you guys
Light
out.
tattoo for free just because I love it that much. So don't worry, we're open. So yeah, this has been Totally Offside Podcast. Travis and Nathan, and if you made it this far again, like Nathan said, thank you so much. Hopefully we talk to you again next week.